Well, we had to interrupt that show just for a little bit there. That was Miss June that called me and said that the guys had come and picked up the old gas dryer. So we've got that out of the house tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll be ready for the new gas dryer to come from Lowe's. And she's back from
good old Harley.
Visiting with the
First Harley, actually.
with the Saint Therese girls
I had a Honda
and
Shadow
friends.
750 for
They always
4
have a
years.
good time, enjoy themselves.
Yeah, they're good bikes.
We had a great time today too with Randy and the other folks, the professional
There's one thing they knew how to do.
garbage men from Rumpke's, and they did a great job, and they've always do a great job of gathering our waste products, taking them away. Do a great job. Always glad to be a part of that. Well, we're back watching Harry finish up this Mr. Holbrook's hair.
Wow.
He's doing a good job.
Yeah, that's cool though, man.
Now I had to.
Come from unavailable.
That's cool, man.
Every year I took I led trips out west for 15 years.
I ain't never been out west on my bike, but I've been planning on it.
And you'll get a chance to do
I
it.
might even go to Sturgis too.
Huh?
I want to go to Sturgis too.
As soon as possible, thank you.
Yeah. Other than go look at Harvey's. Sturgis.
Hey, Daryl, this is Tyler calling.
Trouble is, I've been there twice.
Tomorrow morning at 9 or 10 a.m.
You can't go nowhere.
Give me a call back from myself.
It's only 2 blocks long, and to get through town takes us 45 minutes to get through town. If you want to get out and do some riding.
Yeah.
A lot of people, but everything's cool.
Now these two are talking motorcycle riding right now. That's the Howdy Boys group.
You got any good palmetto?
Well, I put some on it already.
Did you got any heavy holders
I put
to give it a nice wet look? That's kind of the route I go.
Let's see. Oh, yeah, damn crew cone.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, it looks great.
Tell you the truth, I don't know what the hell you got here, because I normally don't work here. We got some LA looks, and but I put some of that in it already.
Yeah. I usually do the old
Yeah.
Dapper Dan wet slick back.
Yeah, okay. Well, I can put it down, slick it back if you want, but ain't nobody will see you tonight.
Well,
You
yeah.
don't have to look at Dapper Dan tonight, you're going home, ain't you?
Yeah, you're right.
Let me get a close-up look at that. Boy, that looks good.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
It does look good. You did that beautiful, Harry.
Yeah.
Now you talk about the movie star look. That's the movie star look.
I'll tell you one thing. If there's one thing I've learned over the years, it's to get a haircut in your work clothes and not the ones you're going to keep wearing the rest of the day.
Oh, well, now, we don't get hair all over a fella in here.
No.
You've been going to great clips too many times. You got brainwashed.
Oh, yeah. I always get a itchy neck, and I can't stand that hardly.
Now, have you got any advice for any young people out there that you want to give them out to to the public here?
Well,
Now, you're somewhat of a philosopher yourself, history person. Give some good advice to some young people out there.
well, I'd have to say, find something you love and stick to it.
There you go.
Because if you don't,
There you go.
you're going to get too distracted like I did, and you'll end up down a road you never thought you'd be on. And if there's anything that road taught me is that a man carries more burdens than he ever will anything else. So if you find something you love, there's a good chance you might just stay shy from that shit.
Yeah, that's right. That is right. That's wise. That's very wise.
Okay, thank you, Dave. Well,
No
thank
problem.
you. All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Yeah,
Okay.
you too. Y'all
God-
have a great day.
God bless you now.
Bye.
Thank you, sir. You too.
Well, Harry, it's been a long day. And you've really actually worked longer and harder than you really wanted to today, and I admire you for it.
Yeah.
It's quite a challenge.
This whole body's tired, John.
Yeah. Well, it takes a lot out of you when
Yeah.
you're, particularly if you're not used to coming in here every day. You know,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
it's a routine, but it's also difficult. It's physical. People don't realize sometimes how actually physical being a barber is, because you're constantly using your hands and your fingers and your arms and your shoulders, and you're standing all the time.
Yeah. It ain't cutting post holes though, John.
No, well, that's
It
true.
ain't digging post holes, buddy. That's what I've always said.
Yeah.
It ain't digging post holes.
No. Born and raised and grew up on the farm. I said, when I left the farm, I said, I learned a lot on the farm. I had 4 years of agriculture, and I said, but I'm going to tell you something. Unless you really like to work hard,
Yeah.
physically, farming work is not for you.
Yeah, when I graduated high school, I worked for my father-in-law, and he was a contractor over in Heber. And I worked for him for 2 weeks before I went to barber school. And right then I found out there's one thing I know. I don't want to be a contractor.
It's a lot of hard work,
That's
isn't it?
work for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's somebody was talking about earlier, the railroad. I worked on the railroad 3 years, and I learned my lesson there. I said,
Yeah.
that was the most dangerous job
Yeah.
that I ever had, was working on the railroad. And my grandfather was killed on the railroad, crushed between two cars,
Yeah.
right there where my dad worked and where I worked on what's called the southbound hump.
Uh-huh.
And my dad was only 5 years old when his dad was killed there on the railroad. And then my dad, who worked on the railroad 40-some years, got both legs twisted, had to jump off a car with no brakes on it, that he was riding over the hill, what they called the hump,
Uh-huh.
had no brakes on it, and he had to jump off that car and got into the tracks and took his leg and just bent it up over, back up
Yeah.
the wrong way to go.
There's some terrible accidents on the railroad.
And he was off for over a year. And back in those days, you didn't get benefits. You just were off. But we moved out onto the farm then, and he still worked on the railroad. But my dad was the best farmer I ever knew. He raised everything on the farm, and my mom canned most of it. And what we didn't raise and keep for ourselves, I sold out of the trunk of the car down in Covington,
Uh-huh.
just driving around from place to place.
Yeah.
And sold the vegetables and that. We had our own garden completely with tomatoes, potatoes, onions, strawberries, grapes, apples, oranges, you named it. We had all the trees, had our own beehives, which reminds me that I think it's this Sunday, my son is going to take June and I to a restaurant called The Hive out in Erlanger. It's a new restaurant,
Huh.
and it's owned by the Mayor Feet of Erlanger.
Oh.
And her father is one of the main cooks and running the kitchen with another fella from Colonial Cottage, Matt Grimes.
Oh. Okay.
He's working out there, helping them out in the kitchen, and does a great job. And Matt Grimes had the Colonial Cottage there for 25 or 30 years. I'll be daggone. And then, of course, they'll be taking us out there. It's open for breakfast and lunch, but it closes, I think, at 2 o'clock.
Uh-huh.
And but I've been out there once, and I really enjoyed the meal. And I thought, well, my son asked me where I wanted to go, and I said, well, I'd like to go back out there to that hive.
Yeah.
And so he's going to take us out for Mother's Day and for Father's Day, Sunday, out to Erlanger there, right back.
John, you going out to eat, you ought to be a cheap date. You're like me. You ain't haven't had nothing except a toothpick
That-
and water.
That's right. That's about all we're allowed to have.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they got some good salads out there, and so I'm looking forward to that. They really fix a lot of nice food out there.
Yeah.
Now this is another part of the job in barbershop. You know, we talk about the barbers and all the stories and all the people that they see and have come in, and I've been here when there's been millionaires in here getting their hair cut, and I've been here when people who can barely pay the bills. In fact, I'm one of them coming in here. And they have all types of people. They do their hairs, but there's a hard work even in here at the barbershop because you got to clean up afterwards and leave things presentable for the next day, don't you, Harry?
John, we'll turn out the lights
Now
so
that's a
nobody
sign-
else catches me in here.
That's right. Right. Well,
If I had a bed, I think I'd just sleep here all night.
you got to come back tomorrow, do you?
Yeah, I'll be back here tomorrow.
Oh, praise the Lord.
Yeah.
Well, if people want to come, do you have people already lined
I'm
up?
booked up tomorrow.
Are
I
you
really don't want any more.
Okay, I'll just say
I can
on.
do more, John, but I'm so.
You're not up to
I
it
hate
right
to
now.
say it, I'm so exhausted.
You're
I
whipped.
don't want to do it anymore. You know, I love everybody, but
There's a time to.
I'm wore out.
That's wore out.
I need a few days rest. Yeah.
Now, what about when will the guys come back? Todd and Daryl.
Well, I thought they were coming back Tuesday, so I don't know. I looked in Todd's book, and he's got some every day at some time marked off. So I don't know what's going on with him. And I don't know. Let me see what Daryl's got down here.
I just wondered, so we could say,
So if this is on Facebook, he might.
what time that
Well, Daryl's got customers down on the 5th.
on the 5th of.
Yeah, 5th. Yeah.
So they're really taking off through
So
the
he's-
4th of
he's
July.
coming in, yeah.
But-
Well, yeah.
They'll be back on the 5th after
So-
the holiday.
4th of July is Monday, so, which is our normal day off anyway.
Yeah.
So I guess they'll be back on Tuesday.
Now, what's the number that people reach them here?
859-491-0027.
Now, think about that, folks. Harry's been retired for, what, 2 years, 3
Yeah,
years?
2.5.
2.5 years, and he still remembers
I
the
still
number.
remember the number, John.
That's amazing.
It's amazing.
It really is.
Yeah.
So for you folks out there looking to get a haircut by Sparrow and Newton's and want to educate yourself a little bit and sophisticate yourself a little bit from the knowledge and history that these folks have, I often say you haven't really been a real Kentuckian unless you had your hair cut by Sparrow and Newton.
Just remember, Newton will be here, but Sparrow won't. Let's go home, John.
Let's go home. Well, folks, we'll catch you a little later here. God bless you, and stay tuned for a little extra show here.
Well, I don't want nobody to see me smoking this.
I'm going to put you on the air. This is just a sound. Now, tell us about retirement itself. Are there any joys to retirement that you've found? I know just being off work, but still, how's it been?
Yeah, I'm glad to be off work, John, after all these years, sure. But everything I've done in my life that I really enjoyed, I did while I was working. And now that I'm up to the age that I'm retired, I'm too old to do any of them things anymore, which I enjoyed them all the times in the years that I worked. I loved every minute of it. All the times I went out west and the music I played every weekend for 25 years.
You were in that band for how many years?
25,
25 years, and you played the bass?
yeah, with Glenn Canyon. Yeah.
Glen Canyon.
And
We never did get that road named after him
yeah,
up there.
It was probably too late to do anything.
Well, I
now.
tried.
I know you did, John. I know
I'm
you
still
did.
not giving it up. One of these days,
I
I
did.
get a hold of Mike Pence when he gets back there and say,
Yeah.
can you get this done for me?
Yeah.
But, You played bass there with Glen Canyon.
Yeah, yeah.
Had some very good records too.
Yeah, we had a few out. We played every Friday and Saturday night, and sometimes on Sunday, every weekend.
And a lot of people don't realize, and I'm going to tell them now, Glen Canyon and Harry Sparrow did a lot of charity work, a lot of work for good organizations. It helped me out a great deal on my Pioneer Days picnic. You all would come down there and play.
I remember that, John. Yeah.
And that was something that was educational and history. That's where we had Monsignor Hellman come and speak.
All right.
We had Dr. Claypool come and speak. We had some great historians, and it was really quite an honor to have them all down there in Pioneer Days at Pioneer Park. I wish I could have kept that up, but the age catches up to you. And,
Yep.
and the Robinson Family Singers were up there singing with us too and playing.
Right.
My sister Mary Ruth. By the way, I was with them the other day down at Carrollton. It was one of my nephew's children, Mark, his son Andrew, who plays in the band with them, the Robinson Family Singers. They're now down to where the kids are playing.
Yeah.
And he just
Great.
graduated from high school, and so they were picking and singing down there, and so I filmed that. Went down there and filmed that at the house, little graduation party. But when you stop and look at all that, and you think about Harry, all the songs and times you played with Glen Canyon,
Yeah.
you touched a lot of hearts doing that. A lot of hearts and a lot of minds with some very positive thoughts.
We sure enjoyed it. We had a great time. Played with a lot of the Grand Ole Opry stars, and had to back a lot of them on shows.
Yep.
Done the Ohio State Fair 2 years in a row on live radio back then. And
that was some great times.
yes, it was.
And
Look
great
forward to it.
memories.
Loved it. Still working 5.5 days a week. I was still
Yeah.
doing the music on the weekend. So
Yep. It was a life.
yeah.
You
yeah,
remember a
yeah.
fellow by the name of Ray Cummins? That
Sure.
played?
Ray played with us some. Yes.
He was a good guitar player,
Ray is
wasn't
an excellent guitar player. Yes.
he? Now, he just was inducted into the Northern Kentucky Hall of Fame.
Yes. Ray is still playing. He's still able to play, and he's actually a guitar player. Yes.
And a good Christian man, too.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
I've watched him over the years. I went over to Bob Mackey's one time, and not too long ago, when they were going to induct him into the Hall of Fame, he played over there, and I filmed some of that.
Yep.
I enjoyed doing that, too.
If Chet Atkins played it, Ray Cummins could play it.
Yeah. He started was a protege with
Yes, he was.
Chet Atkins.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was an excellent guitar player.
Just thinking about all that, and
Yeah.
all those years you played with them,
Mm-hmm.
and one of these days we'll get that road named up there in Indiana that goes around where, what was the name of that town? Bright, Indiana,
Bright,
wasn't it?
Indiana. Yeah, that's
Bright, Indiana.
the song that Glenn wrote about Bright.
Yeah, I've got a copy of that.
Yep. And in the song, it's got every business that's in town
Yep.
named in the record.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Plus the graveyard and everything else.
Well, you were the one to put me on that to get that done, and I haven't got it done yet.
Well, it's hard to do.
I'm not out of it till I'm dead.
I know what all you got to go through, John. I remember when we got Kenny Price's name put up
Yeah.
on 42 out in Florence. Everything I had to go through to get that done. That took a year. I had to find to go to the congressman to get that done.
Yep.
And then Jack Reno got his name up on the bridge there finally, and yeah, so a couple of the old time country stars was finally got some recognition there in Florence.
Yeah, that they deserved. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it's life is short, but it's beautiful. A lot of memories, and the people. You have a lot of memories with the people. It's wonderful that your wife's still alive,
Yep.
and she saw all that with you,
Yep. Sure did.
and
Yeah.
was supportive of you, frankly.
Yeah.
And you've
right.
been supportive of her too.
Oh yeah, sure.
You know, that's what a marriage is supporting each other, loving each other, and caring for each other. emotionally and physically.
People always ask me, he said, how did you stay together 62 years? And I said, well, it's easy. Don't do nothing together. Of course, that always gets a laugh, you know. So,
Right.
so yeah, if you ain't around each other, you won't be making each other mad, so you'll stay together.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I had to do. I had to give June some space because for years she traveled with me everywhere.
Yeah.
And she was on camera all the time. And I
Yeah,
said, she
right.
said, John, keep me off camera now.
Yeah.
So I try to abide by that. I do put in pictures that I've got old pictures of her.
Well, you didn't have to keep her off camera. She was so pretty anyway.
Well, right.
Beautiful lady. Yeah, how you ever got her?
I don't
It's beyond not just me, John. It's beyond everybody.
Everybody. I know.
Yes, sir.
It was a God thing, I can
Yes,
tell you.
Yes, it was. He had his eyes closed that day.
That's right.
And said she looked at you or something. I
That's
don't know.
right. That's
I
right.
don't know, buddy. Or you looked at her. Whatever. Something got turned around there.
Something got turned around.
But it worked out for you,
as,
all
as,
right.
as Daryl would say, I tricked her.
Yeah, you tricked her, all right. Yeah.
Well, I tell you, folks, it's been an interesting day here that I've had, and helping my veteran friend down in 1935 Gun Club Road, Darius Beach, a veteran from Vietnam, and helping to get him through life and his time in hospice, and spend some enjoyable time. Helped him get his TV and get me TV so he can watch the westerns and Rawhide and Wagon Train and Gunsmoke.
Yeah.
And getting him some good food to eat, and got a nice little place to stay there, and his air-conditioned camper, and he's enjoying life. Even though it's hard to breathe, he's enjoying life, and I'm enjoying watching him in life. But I always enjoy coming over here to the barber shop and seeing all the personalities
Tell you
here.
what, you got a compliment yesterday from Dr. John Dowd. I told him that you was coming in the afternoon after him, and he said John has really done a lot of good things for a lot of people. I thought that was pretty nice.
That's very nice. It's very nice.
Yeah, he said he's done a lot of good things for a lot of good people.
Well, you try.
Well, you have tried, John. You've done good, buddy.
I've got this one lady I'm trying now. It's really sad. Keep her in your prayers. Her name's Mary White Shulkers. She's in her 60s, and her son just passed away 2 months ago. He was a veteran of Afghanistan.
Oh.
Died there in her house, and unfortunately, she was back in December. She was at stage 3 and 4 renal failure, and with diabetes and kidney problems.
Yeah.
And she was on some heavy medication for that and for anxiety and everything, and was driving her car and passed out coming down Dixie Highway.
Yeah.
Passed out, completely blacked out, went up on the sidewalk and hit some man and broke his leg and some other bones, and they had to put some rods in his leg, and they thought she was intoxicated, and she wasn't.
Had diabetes.
Had diabetes and had kidney failure, and
passed out. Yeah.
passed out. And I didn't find out about it until after the fact, and they told me about the funeral, and some friends called me and said, "Can you help her?" And so I had just met her early on, but not really knew her that well. But since he she had a son as a veteran, I try to help out veterans. I thought, well, see if I can help out in this case some, because she was charged with reckless driving and
Yeah.
I think 2 or 3 other serious charges. And but they did check her blood at the scene, you know, with the St. Elizabeth Hospital,
Yeah.
and it showed no alcohol. That's why I was
Yeah,
thrilled with that.
yeah.
So it wasn't anything where she was drunk or anything like that. It was from the medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't realize out here in the real world that sometimes these medicines, when you got pain medicine and other medicine that you're on for diabetes,
Yeah, yeah.
they can mix each other and you can black out.
Yes, yeah. I've been in hospital twice in my life, John. Well, 3 times. Once for open heart surgery, but and I had a shoulder operation. But I've been in there 2 other times where my sugar dropping so low that I should have
Pass
died
out.
twice.
Yeah.
It got down into the 30s, and thank God my wife
Realized
checked
it.
on me and called the ambulance.
Yeah, that's what I was saying in there,
That's
man.
happened
Got down to
twice
40s.
me. Yeah.
Yeah, you get
Yeah.
if you
Yes.
don't watch it, you'll pass out. And,
Yes, you will.
Lose,
Yes, you
lose
absolutely
control.
Will. Yeah.
and that's what happened to her.
It's so hard to keep a check on.
And so they've got her under an ankle bracelet.
Yeah.
And when her son died, she couldn't even hardly go. They wouldn't at first wouldn't even let her go to the funeral.
Yeah.
Wouldn't let her have time off.
Yeah.
And eventually they agreed to have her one day off so she could go to the funeral. And that's when I went and filmed the funeral for her. And that's when I got involved in trying to help her. And I've been trying to get it across to the judge and to the prosecutors that, you know, give this a second look, because this lady's
Right.
she's no record. She surrendered her license.
Yeah.
The only thing she owns is her home, and she owes more on it than it's worth.
Yeah.
And I said she can't hire an attorney because she doesn't have the money to hire one. I talked to one the other day, and they wanted $5,000 to take the case and $5,000 more guaranteed.
Yeah.
She doesn't have that.
Yeah.
And they've got her now, so the ankles got her in the house, and they're not going to have the trial until sometime in September. So she's going to sit there all this time
Yeah.
with all this pain that she's in, and she's afraid to go to the doctor because they're probably going to say you need more medicine, you know, and so
Yeah.
she can't drive. She can't even go unless she's got permission to go. So it's a sad
Yeah,
situation.
Yeah, it is. Sounds like
So
it is,
keep her
John.
in your prayers,
I sure
Mary
will.
White
Sure will.
Shulkers. And I've been praying with her on the phone. She lives out in Erlanger. And I've been praying with her on the phone and praying that wisdom come to the folks' heads that's in charge, that what good is it going to serve to put this lady in jail?
Yeah.
I mean, what have you served? She's going to die there then. Is that really helping anybody else? It's not that she's driving anymore.
Yeah.
She
yeah.
surrendered her license,
Yeah.
you know. So pray that common sense comes over.
Boy, that's
Their
a hard
heads.
thing to find anymore, John.
It is,
Common
isn't it? Common sense.
Common sense. Jesus. Hard to find anymore.
Yep.
Oh,
Yes,
got
it
a lot
is.
of smart people out there, but they got no common sense.
Right. Right. Well, Harry, I'm not going to pester you anymore. We've talked about playing music. We've talked about barbering. We talked about education. I know that you're...
Well, we've talked about all my life until you got into the education part, John, and I had to drop out of that. Yeah.
We had a lot of fun with some customers, though,
Yeah, we
didn't
did. Yeah, we did.
we? And this film will be part of history. It's actually a part of history when you get a chance to talk to somebody like Harry and life.
It won't be in the history books, will it? I don't think so, John.
Well, it might be. You can't
I
never
doubt
tell.
it, because they're getting rid of all the history.
I
They don't want
know.
nothing. They don't want to hear nothing. They don't want.
I
They
know.
may forget his history always repeats itself, but they don't want to hear that.
I know.
So there's another common sense.
I know. I got on here the other day. I said, well, now, let's see where we are in life. We took the 10 Commandments out of the classrooms.
Right. Worst thing they could ever
Done. Worst thing. Absolutely
ever
worst thing. We took the 10 Commandments out of the rooms, We used to say a prayer every morning before school started.
Didn't
We
hurt a thing.
said a
Didn't hurt
prayer and
thing.
said the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag and
Yes.
read a scripture
Yes.
every morning.
Didn't hurt a thing.
And my sisters did that as teachers too, and I did it as a teacher. And so they got that done, and now what have they done? They've come in and want to put books in our schools that tell us how to be transgender, gay, lesbians, homosexuals, and pedophiles.
Yeah.
They want to put this into the children's section of the libraries.
Yeah.
My goodness gracious sakes alive, how stupid can anybody be? It just it overwhelms me when I see this happening with taxpayer dollars, and here we're promoting minors, children minors.
Yeah, now why don't you look into that? Maybe you'd like it. Yeah, I don't understand that, John. I have nothing against the gay people.
No, I mean either.
It's gay people did not choose to be that way.
It's the way they are.
It's their genes and chromosomes or whatever it is that got mixed up in birth. And
That doesn't mean we want them training and
yeah,
victimizing our children.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
let the children grow up
Right.
with their parents.
See what they
teaching.
want to feel.
That's right.
Yeah, not what somebody teaches them.
All right, we don't need indoctrination. Informing someone is informing them, but
Yeah.
indoctrinating them is a different thing.
Right.
And that's what they're trying to do.
That's what they're doing today.
Indoctrination, shamefully. Well, we'll try to tell them. I'm going to write something about it and post it on Facebook. And June's going to write something too. So we're going to post that today sometime.
Well, I probably shouldn't say this, but John, we didn't have this trouble when Trump was in there.
No, we didn't. We didn't.
So you know how I voted. So
Yeah, right. Well, you know how I
guess
voted
if I'm a
too.
Republican, I'm going to hell. But
I'm
I'm going because I was a Republican.
That's right. We're going
right.
because we tried to save the country.
Right, we tried to save the country, John.
That's right. Oh,
So we
mercy
better
sakes
end on that, John.
We better end on that.
We better quit, old buddy.
Well, as one old guy to another old guy,
It's
we've said it all.
been fun being with you.
That's true. Harry Sparrow, John Stephenson here with Travels with John Stephenson and Harry Sparrow Through Life. God bless you, folks. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned a little something.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, Harry. 859-750-0000. Join us on Facebook and YouTube and wherever we are. Amen.